Hello, good evening. Welcome to News Tonight, streaming live at GHOneTV.com and also on our Facebook page at GHOne TV. Thank you for joining us. I'm Nana Aba Anamwa.
And my name is GHOne. Within the next hour, we're bringing you all the updates you are expecting from our local front. We'll touch on some business stories. We'll bring you some international news as well as spice it with entertainment and sports. Coming up, our headlines.
Florida court has released 29 others for lack of evidence.
Tonight we'll tell you what some political parties are saying, and here the Progressive People's Party has given government a 3-month ultimatum to end galamsey or face the International Criminal Court on crimes against humanity.
The court has also declined Jihad Chaban's request for an out-of-court settlement in the Mawako abuse trial.
Tonight, fire guards shops near the Kumasi Central Market, destroying properties worth several thousands of Ghana cedis.
Coming up in business, government allocates 400 million cedis to commence its one district, one factory promise.
Tony Bebley would be joining us with some sports in here. Black Stars player Ibrahim Tanko has lauded GFA for choosing Kwesi Appiah to coach the national team.
And thousands rendered homeless in Lagos State after police set ablaze an informal fishing settlement. Stay with us for the details.
In our very first story tonight, President Akufo-Addo has strongly indicated that his government officials will no longer be able to purchase their state vehicles during the period of transition to a new government. Speaking during a rather short press conference at the end of a 4-day retreat for members of his cabinet on Monday, the president was hopeful this development will put an end to the back and forth over state vehicles during future transitions.
Government, if it is to succeed, has to be teamwork. It cannot be one person or a group of individuals acting out of their own little corners. It has to be a group of people coming together, a common program, common ideas, and working to realize those ideas in a spirit of teamwork and of cooperation. I'm satisfied that these 3 days that we've spent here in Peduase has established for me that sense of togetherness, that sense of oneness that we need. Everybody has been here. All the ministers have been here. Vice President, the Chief of Staff, the Senior Minister, and all of them. And everybody's had an opportunity to contribute to the work that we've done here this weekend. So we're leaving here in very high spirits. We know the difficulties that have emerged with the events in Kumasi, but we believe that those events are systematically being brought under control in the way that they should be. And reassuring the nation that the commitment that we made, that we're going to serve Ghana under conditions of the rule of law. We're not wavering in that commitment. And we believe that the overwhelming majority of the Ghanaian people support us in that commitment. There are a couple of things that have emerged which I think is important also for the country to know. As you know, I've put a ban for the time being on the purchase of any new vehicles for members of this government. No matter how dilapidated are the vehicles that are in our fleet, We're going to have to make do with them. These are difficult times for the Ghanaian people, and we should be seen to be acting and respecting that. At the same time, a policy that has worked so far, which has run into a lot of problems because of the way it has been abused, which is that officials can buy cars, official cars. That policy will no longer work. No official is going to have the opportunity to buy any official car. So that we put an end to it, and we put an end to where are the cars, where are the cars. Nobody is going to have that capacity anymore.
We've got insights coming up now, and fire has gutted several stores in a track at Roman Hill, close to the Kumasi Central Market in the Ashanti region. Several shops and goods worth thousands of Ghana cedis were destroyed in the fire. The fire reportedly started at around 1:30 p.m. today.
Reports indicate that the fire destroyed over 15 other shops before it was put out by the personnel from the Ghana National Fire Service. According to reports, several shoppers and traders who were trapped in the market were rescued by the police. An eyewitness told StarFMOnline.com that the fire started after an electric cable fell when a Kia truck which was unloading mattresses cut through it, causing the cable to catch fire.
Right, so that was the Central Business District, they call it the Kumasi Central Market in Kumasi, of course. But let's take a look at a graphical representation or presentation of fires that have gutted markets in this country. In a bit, we'll be talking to the fire service, but this is Kumasi. In 2016, during the first quarter, the Ghana National Fire Service recorded 610 fire outbreaks. That's the first quarter of 2016, 610 fire outbreaks. And then in the second quarter, the fire service recorded 168 fire outbreaks, still in Kumasi, the Ashanti regional capital. We'll take a look at the other quarter and see exactly what happened. The third quarter, the National Fire Service recorded 163 fire outbreaks, and then we'll take a look at the last quarter of 2016 and see exactly what the trend has been. 208 fire outbreaks in the last quarter of 2016. So that was the situation in the Ashanti region. Together, the Kumasi area recorded 1,149 incidents of fire in 2016 alone. And we are talking about just the capital, not the Ashanti region, but just the capital, Kumasi. 1,149 fire incidents in 2016. We'll be talking to Billy Anaglati of the Ghana National Fire Service in a bit. He speaks for the Ghana National Fire Service to tell us exactly what is happening in the Ashanti regional capital, Kweku Timing. We'll be talking to Billy Anaglati in a bit.
It's quite interesting, the statistics that you just revealed. So if you should sum all these up, you can think about the Ashanti region, the number of fire outbreaks there. And I'm hoping that in a while we'll get some answers to this, because I don't know whether it's the advocacy that has not gone down well, or it is the frequent power outages, talk about electrical problems, or really what could be the reason, because this is just astronomical.
Yes. Let's get some answers now from Mr. Billy Anaglati. He speaks for the Ghana National Fire Service. Thank you for making time this evening, Mr. Anaglati. Do we have any idea, any suspicion as to what may have caused this incident in the Kumasi Central Market? You can answer the question.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity given. Yes. If we are talking of reasons why fires, probably are occurring in Kumasi, I would say yes and no. Yes and no in the sense that as much as education, we are having our education, educating people as to what to do to prevent the fires. We also understand that yes, it is not every area in Kumasi, looking at the setting in Kumasi, if you look at where the fires actually are coming out, you know, you talk of the market, you talk of magazine, you talk of where we have the industries, where a lot of fires occur within those areas. But you hardly, you know, have fires in the residential areas where people actually have little to do with sources of heat and other areas. If you get into the central market itself, that we have had several fire outbreaks, and you realize that the setting alone, the congestion alone in the market, will definitely tell you that we should not be surprised having fires
now,
in those
you
areas.
talk about the fire outbreaks that have been recorded in the central and the Kumasi central market alone. So it is not the first time we are experiencing an outbreak of that sort. What has been done since the last one was recorded and now?
Well, that is why actually, even when these things were coming, everybody was concerned. The chief officer again instructed and directed the regional commander in Ashanti region to do everything under his command to ensure that fires are reduced to a certain level.
Have they reduced?
Of course. If you look at the statistics that we had, that of last year, the latter part of last year, and if you compare some of those statistics to what we are having now, you realize that yes, there is a reduction in certain nature of fire outbreaks. But where we have a lot of fire outbreaks again is about the domestic areas, even in Kumasi. And you also agree with us that it isn't like about 2 years ago where, you know, day in, day out, we were having fire outbreaks in the market. When was the last time that we had even fire outbreaks in Kumasi? You know, I think it is.
So your advocacy is working. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, it is working, but we know that it will work more if the public again is changing their attitude towards it. Because if you get into some areas that personally, when the last market was gutted in fire in Kumasi, I was part of the team that follow up to investigate and to see what exactly might be the cause of it. But even during that period, we were using the period even to educate people. You realize that a lot of people were adamant to the fire safety education that we were exactly doing.
And I bet even if you went into a community where you expected everyone to pay attention, you still get some sort of hesitation from the people. Now, you talk about congestion because you keep using that word. How have you worked with the authorities in Kumasi at the KMA to decongest the central market?
Yes, when the last market was actually destroyed in fire, that was when they formed a task force, including the personnel of the Ghana National Fire Service and people from the KMA and with other regulatory agencies to ensure that at least those structures in unauthorized areas should be removed. I only want to say that I can't say for sure if this task force is still, you know, ongoing, because immediately I saw that there are a lot of structures that within that time were being removed. Apart from that, we have also personally, I'm talking in terms of fire service, that the task force that patrol the community, even the market. Quite recently, you agree with us that yes, there was an attempt on a market to set that particular market on fire in Kumasi. But because of the vigilance, because of the patrolling of the fire service, we were able to actually avert it. What could have been another market fires we would have been talking about.
And that would have been a case of arson.
Yes, exactly. A case really of an arson.
Because I want to take us out of Kumasi now and look at the country generally. Because I remember, was it a couple of years ago, we were recording fire incidents back to back. I remember there was a team of forensic experts who had come in from the United States to help us unravel these market fires. At the time, there were suspicions that it was sabotage from possibly elements in the opposition party now in power. Have you been able to bring a finality to any of these reports?
Yes, really, most of those market fires were investigated, and we have been able to know exactly what might have caused some of these fires. But before we talk about the investigation and to know what exactly some of those outcome of the investigations were, we should also appreciate the fact that most of those fires actually, since they were not designed and constructed, they were just made. They were not even having any facilities to prevent the fires in the first place. A market that had turned to be a dwelling place that people sleep in over the night. night. And within the night, that is why you see other chow bars or drinking spots operating in the market. That is where people sleep in. They are using coils, mosquito coils, and other, sources of heat. They cook in the market. Who knows how they dispose of some of these fires that they use in cooking and all that. And then the same market, you have a lot of illegal electrical wiring system. You don't need to be a professional electrician. That you get into this market, you'll be able to determine exactly, in the site that these are illegal electrical wiring system that they're having. So all these, when we are talking about market fires, then we should be able to understand that before we be able to prevent any of these markets, then we should try and ensure that we redesign this market and construct them. We need to ensure that the bylaws in the market are also being enforced, because we should prevent people from sleeping in the market. It is only when the fire service decided to put people in the market permanently, to monitor the activities of the people that are in the market, and to also ensure that a place is designed to people for cooking, either personal use or for commercial use. Together with the monitoring that we do both day and night, I believe that is why the situation of market fire here, market fire there tomorrow have been a thing of the past that today we should be here be talking of.
All right. Thank you very much. Mr. Billy Maglati speaks for the Ghana National Fire Service. That'll be it for Insight for tonight.
Well, away from Inside, let's just move on to some mining matters. And here, the Eastern Regional Police Command has arrested 4 more Chinese nationals engaged in illegal mining in Achim-Topreman near Akwetia in the Denchembo district. Our Eastern Regional correspondent has filed this report.
The 30 armed police contingent also retrieved a box of 155 BB cartridge ammunitions, a pump-action gun, and a locally made single-barrel gun. The police team also impounded 5 excavators and 2 Toyota pickups, which have been taken to the regional police headquarters in Kofodia. The special operation was carried out on April 8, 2017. The suspects are currently being processed for court. The latest arrest brings to 12 Chinese nationals arrested for engaging in illegal mining, while a total of 10 excavators have been impounded within 2 weeks in the region. According to the Eastern Regional Police Commander, ACP George Alex Mensah, the Regional Police Command has kick-started the fight against illegal mining, which has degraded arable lands and polluted several river bodies.
Still on Galamsey, the Kofodia Circuit Court B has acquitted and discharged 29 foreigners for allegedly engaging in illegal mining in the Itiwa forest. According to the judge, Anna Mercier J. Kote, the prosecution failed to prove that the manner in which the accused persons entered the forest reserve posed any threat to the protected area.
However, ruled that a prima facie case had been established against the accused persons after the prosecution closed its case on counts of conspiracy to commit illegal mining, mining without license as foreigners, and mining without license as Ghanaians. Before the close of the case, a lawyer for the accused persons at the previous hearing on February 20, 2017, told the court that his clients traveled from their countries to hunt for game, refuting charges of illegal mining in the forest reserve. He thus argued that it is absolutely incorrect for his clients to be accused of engaging in illegal mining in the Itiwa Forest Reserve, hence challenging the exhibits which were produced in court, including an axe, sophisticated computerized equipment used to detect gold, and other portable equipment tendered in as evidence in court. 25 out of the 29 accused persons are Nigerians, while the others are from Burkina Faso, Guinea, Mali, and Togo, contrary to the initial claims of some being Ghanaians. The court on Monday asked the Defense Counsel to open defense for the accused persons on May 21, 2017. The prosecutor and Deputy Regional State Attorney Cyril Boating Keteku expressed satisfaction with the progress of the case so far, adding that the burden of proof now lies with the Defense Counsel. All right, so at this point, we would want to give you some of the effects of Galamsey on our water bodies. Well, water treatment has shot up from 4 Ghana cedis per litre to 8 Ghana cedis. Now, the situation has largely been attributed to the effects of Galamsey and its illegal fishing activities.
Heavy pollution of water bodies across the country due to illegal mining activities have in recent times made water treatments very expensive. Ghana Water Company officials say they have had to shut down their water treatment plant several times due to galamsey activities and illegal fishing.
We have had to shut down severally to service our equipment because especially with areas where they've been polluted by galamsey operations or alluvial mining, the water is mixed up with sand and stone particles. And our equipment are not manufactured to abstract stone particles, so they affect them.
Stanley Mate also indicated that it will cost the country a fortune to dredge and clean the rivers and water bodies that have been heavily polluted before treatment with chemicals.
Looking at the rate of pollution, if nothing is done now, there's a possibility that in the very near future, Ghana may have to import water into the system because almost every river body now in Ghana is under threat, is seriously polluted. Even the Volta River that we see to be less polluted in the country is now under threat because all the tributaries now are under siege via galamsey operations, and the Volta River itself is also facing a serious threat.
He decried the level of destruction caused by the galamsey activities and warned if pollution does not stop immediately, tariffs for water consumption could go up as production cost keeps increasing.
Now, let's hear what some political parties have been saying about galamsey and its effects. The Progressive People's Party has given the NPP government a 3-month ultimatum to end illegal mining, also known as galamsey, or else it will be compelled to drag government to the International Criminal Court for crimes against humanity. At a news conference at the party's headquarters here in Accra, PPP National Chairman Ni Alute Bruhammond said the time has come for President Akufo-Addo to walk his numerous talks of dealing with a menace.
The party's demands follow mounting pressure on government to end illegal mining that is polluting the nation's water bodies and destroying the vegetative cover. The Ghana Water Company has shut down many of its water treatment plants because of the condition of the water bodies. However, at a news conference at the party's headquarters in Accra, the PPP says it wants frantic actions from the Nanado-led NPP government to end illegal mining in 3 months. The party emphasized that government's failure to meet their deadline will leave them with no option than to pursue the matter at the International Criminal Court. Policy advisor of PPP, Kofi Asamoah-Siao, explained that the panacea to the illegal activity lies with the president, who should, as a matter of urgency, declare war on galamsey.
It's not to come and say it is complex, and the reason why they say it's complex is because they know their party members who are involved. That is the definition of complexity. Otherwise, it's not complex at all. Haven't you heard horrible stories of Ghanaians who were arrested back in China for cocaine deal here and there? And
are we dealing with a problem or we are paying back?
No, we are dealing with a problem. But you see legal thing they are doing. It's not payback at all. Look, there should be no emotions about it. The people are I come from Akemodan. When I was growing up, I saw the river, the base, the river bed with rocks there, clean from top, maybe 50 meters down. Now it's complete madness or mud. Yes, that you see, nothing. It's dwindling. It's becoming like a gutter. The whole river brim, Pra, is becoming like a gutter. So who should tell us that we are under threat? We are under an invasion. The first solution to this problem is to round up all these Chinese and take them away.
Even though Lands Minister Peter Amau has served a 3-week notice to galamsey operators to stop their activities or be prosecuted, the PPP insists the directive will yield no results. The PPP again demanded the disbandment of all vigilante groups in the country, including the Delta Force in Kumasi, with immediate effect.
If you can't punish these people, can you come and punish me when I steal somebody's 1,000? Or when I steal my mother's fowl? Or what? Who would you want to punish?
So what exactly are you calling for that should be done immediately?
The president of Ghana, this matter can only be solved by the president.
How does he go about it?
He's the one in charge. If IGP will not move, If army commander will not move, if the Minister for National Security will not move, if BNI director will not move, if CID regional commanders will not move, who else will move?
But the IGP is working.
He's not working.
The IGP is in Kumasi. A special force is in Kumasi.
To go to Kumasi. Why? Otherwise, what is the use of his regional commander? He doesn't need to go to Kumasi. He should just order the regional commander. If he fails, he must fire him. And if the president, the IGP fails, the president must fire the IGP.
We're grateful that you're still with us on News Tonight. We'll bring you some more stories. Police in the Upper East region have declared missing some sensitive government files following a midnight raid on 2 officers at the Bongo District Assembly by persons yet to be identified. Thieves broke into the offices of auditors and budget officers and made away with a file covering contract details of some state projects executed under the Ghana Social Opportunities Project, GHOne, before the recent change of government. The burglars found their way into the offices after tearing down the wire mesh on the louvered windows, removed some louvers, took the GHOne file as well as 2 sets of desktop computers, one from each of the offices, but astonishingly spared a laptop computer, printers and some accessories found inside the rooms. Police say one of the security guards is reported to have abandoned his post many months ago, but still takes salaries up to now. The information theft at the assembly is the second major robbery to have hit Bongo in 2 weeks.
In other news, the judge presiding over the Mawako abuse case has declined a request by the counsel for the accused for an out-of-court settlement, according to Justice Victoria Ekuya-Gansa. Although Section 73 of the Court Act allows for reconciliation in criminal cases, the said section is not applicable to all cases of misdemeanors.
Delivering her ruling on the application filed by the defense lawyers for Jihad Chaban for an out-of-court settlement, Justice Victoria Gansa further stated that the prosecutor is almost done with the cross-examination of his witnesses, and it will be fair for the accused to be given the same opportunity to be heard in court. To this end, the judge ruled for the case to continue in court for fairness and justice to be served to both parties in the case. The defense lawyers again filed another application for a recall of the star witness, Evelyn Boache, to reappear in court to allow them confront her with new evidences which were unknown to them at the time of her cross-examination. The application was based on Section 79 of the Evidence Act, which makes it permissible for a witness to be recalled for further evidence to be adduced. According to them, the victim, Evelyn Boache, has given different accounts of the case before the court to several people and will need her to reappear in court to give clarity. Justice Victoria Ekuya-Gansa again waived off the application by the defense lawyers, describing it as an attempt to delay the prosecution. Later, the investigator investigating the Mawako Pepe attack case, Detective Inspector Eunice Ashiagbo of the Tesana Police Command, mounted the witness box for cross-examination by both parties in the case. She tendered in evidence the complainant's statement, the charge sheet and the full medical report by the Achimota Hospital on Evelyn Boache. The defense lawyers objected to the medical report on grounds that the detective is not the author of the report and cannot speak to the issues therein. But Justice Victoria Ekuya-Gansa rejected the objection and accepted the report tendered in as evidence by the detective. The judge further stated that if need be for the doctor who issued the medical report to speak to the issues, he or she will be invited. The court has therefore been adjourned to Wednesday, 12th April at 10 a.m. for hearing to continue.
Well, let's stay in the court a little further as the Kumasi Circuit Court has remanded into prison custody the 8 Delta Force members who were arrested last week for raiding a court to free 13 of their members. Now, the court, presided over by Patricia Amponsa, said they should be placed in custody until Tuesday, April 18, 2017, when the case will be recalled.
The 8 were arraigned in court on Monday morning and charged on 3 counts: disturbing a court session, resisting arrest, and rescuing persons in lawful custody. The 8 were represented in court by 6 lawyers led by Mr. Gary Nimako. They all pleaded not guilty. Lawyer Nimako told the court
The 8 accused persons were not members of the Delta Force and were also not arrested at the court's premises. He said they were rather arrested at Fanti New Town, which is far away from the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly Circuit Court, where the alleged incident took place.
That they were nowhere near the commission of the offense, that they were not at the crime scene. That's the information we have received so far. So, relying on that information, we also told the court that they were not anywhere close to the court, let alone be part of people who have gone to free accused persons as it is called.
However, Ashanti Regional Police Public Relations Officer, ASP Nkitia Yeboah, is however comfortable with the court ruling. The 8 accused persons are said to have aided the escape of the 13 who were remanded by a Kumasi Circuit Court last Thursday. The 13 had been arraigned for forcibly throwing the Ashanti Regional National Security Liaison Officer out of office last month. Shortly after the presiding judge, Mrs. Mary Nsechiri, had remanded the 13 into prison custody to reappear on April 20, 2017, the group invaded the court, and in ensuing melee, the 13 left the courtroom, joined those outside to leave the court premises. On Monday morning, however, there were heavy presence of armed police personnel at the Kumasi Circuit Court 2, where the accused persons were arraigned. The suspects were brought to the court in handcuffs, and aside the uniformed police personnel from the SWAT team in Accra, there were a number of others in mufti, wielding AK-47 assault rifles. Unlike the previous court hearing last Thursday, where there were a number of supporters at the court, there were no supporters of the group when the 8 appeared before the court on Monday morning.
All right, you're watching News Tonight on GHOne TV. We're taking a break. Let's take a look at our stories before we get into business and finance. Four engaged in Galamsey and Achim Topper have been arrested, while the Koforidua court has released 29 others for lack of evidence.
So the Progressive People's Party has given government a 3-month ultimatum to end Galamsey or face the International Criminal Court on crimes against humanity.
A court in Accra has declined Jihad Chaban's request for an out-of-court settlement in the Mawako abuse trial.
Well, tonight we took you to the Ashanti region where fire gas shops near the Kumasi Central Market destroying properties worth several thousands of Ghana cedis.
Abno Sunyamecha joins us shortly with business there. Government allocates 400 million cedis to commence its one district, one factory promise.
And Tony Bebley would be joining us with sports as Black Stars player Ibrahim Tanku has lauded the GFA for choosing Kwesi Appiah to coach the national team.
And finally, thousands rendered homeless in Lagos State after police set ablaze an informal fishing settlement. Do stay with us. We'll be back shortly.
Yes, the Pillola Easter Party is back. This time we are bringing Easter Bunny to the Rattray Park on the 15th of April 2017.
Roll down for me, make a roll dancing for me, and I roll my
trampoline, merry-go-round, seesaw, swimming, bouncing castle, video games, train ride, your favorite ice cream, and lots of cotton candies to eat.
Rattray Park! Oh my God, I can't miss it. I cannot miss it. Yeah, Bilolo.
Everyone download. Shabba, 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 shabba.
It's 6 a.m. Coming to you live from the Platinum Heights.
Welcome to your award-winning GH Today.
Join your TV royals every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. as they take you through the world of politics.
Today, when you cook rice in my unless you add the sakabo to it, I won't eat.
You are ready for the sakabo?
Yeah, the sakabo.
Well, look at the billboards all around. Quantify them, cost them, and you reach a point where you see money swine.
Lifestyle.
Hats are beautiful and classic on gentlemen.
Sports.
He's 1-on-2. It is GHOne. He's in the area. He scores!
The World Cup is a big stage. Why would he not talk about the AFCON 27? No. You see, people cannot take Ghanaians for a ride.
News Extra.
My name is AJ Sapon, and it is time to bring you
Entertainment. GH Today.
That's awesome.
All right.
You're welcome back.
She's all smiling already.
It must be a lot of money.
Nyameche. I'm sure she's got a lot of money. Issues for
money in town because there's 400 million Ghana cedis for the one district, one factory policy.
Oh, well.
That's good news.
Oh, well.
Go ahead, Abna.
Go ahead with this.
Well, we've got that and other stories in Business Brief tonight, brought to you by the National Investment Bank. Do stay.
Business Brief is brought to you by
National Investment Bank. Your business is our business.
I had for 2 months. Building in this country is too difficult.
Don't worry, the National Investment Bank We Pay for Your Dream scheme can help you finance your building project.
Listen, NIB gave me cement, iron rods, roofing sheets, and other materials to finish my building.
NIB can also help you purchase your home appliances, your mobile phones, and your motorbikes.
You don't even need to have an NIB account to benefit from the NIB We Pay for Your Dream scheme. No.
Just visit any NIB branch with a valid national photo ID card. And the best part is, all purchased products are at no interest.
Call NIB now on 050-145-1050.
National Investment Bank. Your business is our business.
Our first business story this evening, government has allocated an amount of 400 million Ghana cedis to commence its one district, one factory policy. Director of Policy Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation at the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Ebenezer Paddy Ajirakon, confirmed the amount when he joined business players at the Ghana International Trade and Finance Conference in Accra.
Government's one district, one factory policy is projected to cost a total of $1 billion. The policy is an initiative of the president to revamp the country's ailing industrial hub and also to create jobs.
The ministry right now is helping government to prosecute its agenda of their manifesto, that is the NPP administration, so that the ultimate is to help achieve all these areas. I'm happy to tell you that the money that we budgeted for has been granted, and now we are in the process of formulating the policies in regard of one factory, one district, one factory.
Chief Executive Officer of the Association of Ghana Industries lauded government for allocating funds to kickstart the project and indicated the AGI was ready to assist.
The fact that has been put in the budget, first of all, is very good. It is a good thing to have the money available so that all the plans you have in implementing the policy could work out.
Now, Mexico could be the next country to foster closer ties with Ghana following President Akufo-Addo's announcement of major incentives for the One District, One Factory initiative. The Mexican ambassador, Maria Aguirre, told the media in Accra her country is seeking partnership in agriculture and energy sectors.
Speaking at the 2017 Ghana International Trade Finance Conference, Mexican ambassador to Ghana, Maria de lo Arirole Aguirre, indicated that Ghana is well endowed with natural resources, one of the reasons they want to foster business ties with the country.
Ghana is a country that has the most long democracy in Africa, and also the most stable economy, policy and society, a friendship country, and it has a very strategic geographic position. And also the government is very strength committed with investments and the growth of the economy.
She indicated some of the sectors they will target include pharmaceutical, transportation, communication, food and beverages, among others.
We are already having part of an investment here in Ghana in the oil sector, but there are many other sectors, as I have mentioned, agro-food industry. For instance, here in Ghana you have a lot of soil, a lot of places that are very well to have agriculture production, and we have Mexican companies that not only deal with agriculture but as well that with agro-food industry. So if we can get those companies to come to Ghana to transmit to the agricultural sector the knowledge and the technology to have better and wider production.
Chief Executive of the Ghana Shippers Authority, Kofi Mbia, has indicated that the country's maritime trade outlook is likely to see a steady increase in trade volumes in both import and export between 10% to 12% this year. The growth, he said, is expected as a result of the stable political situation in the country.
Speaking at a press briefing on the shipping quarter and outlook of the company, the chief executive stated that shipping plays a major role in the development of the country's economy. According to him, though government has scrapped taxes of the implementation of spare parts on the country, the tax exemptions were yet to take effect as the relevant authorities are still working on the implementation processes. He stated that the maritime industry in 2016 continued to battle with low growth in global demands, leading to low freight rates on major trade routes.
The maritime industry continued to battle with low growth in global demand, coupled with oversupply of new tonnage, and this undoubtedly resulted in low freight rates on the major trading routes. I, however, add that these low freight rates did not have a significant impact on freight rate levels as far as Africans are concerned.
Government, he added, must continue at its efforts at stabilizing the cedi to boost trade.
In our survey with shippers in the first quarter, the issue of the exchange rate came up prominently. At the beginning of the year 2017, we saw a sharp decline in the value of the cedi. However, by the end of the first quarter, we have witnessed a gradual strengthening of the cedi against the other major currencies. Shippers would, however, like government to continue with its efforts aimed at currency rate stabilization in order to engender certainty and to boost international trade.
The Shipping Quarter and Outlook press meeting is expected to be organized quarterly to provide accurate information on the shipping industry.
That's all we have for you in Business Tonight. The Business Brief was brought to you by the National Investment Bank. Visit any NIB branch for more information on the We Pay for Your Dreams promotion.
Business Brief was brought to you by
National Investment Bank. Your business is our business.
I had for 2 months. Building in this country is too difficult.
Don't worry, the National Investment Bank We Pay for Your Dream scheme can help you finance your building project.
Listen, NIB gave me cement, iron rods, roofing sheets, and other materials to finish my building.
NIB can also help you purchase your home appliances, your mobile phones, and your motorbikes.
You don't even need to have an NIB account to benefit from the NIB We Pay for Your Dream scheme. No.
Just visit any NIB branch with a valid national photo ID card. And the best part is, all purchased products are at no interest.
Call NIB now on 050-145-1050.
National Investment Bank. Your business is our business.
And I'm handing over now to Tony Bebley, who's got the latest in sports. Hello, Tony.
Habla, thank you very much. And coming up in sports, former Black Stars trainer, striker Ibrahim Tanko has applauded the Ghana Football Association for appointing Coach Kwesi Appiah as the new national team coach, and he will be ready to serve under Kwesi Appiah if he is given the opportunity. More to come in sports.
Sports Brief is brought to you by Castlegate Real Estate Group.
Castlegate Estate Ghana Limited has evolved with new management and administration and positioned itself to serve you better. Seize this opportunity to do business with us by reserving a plot this year and start your own construction today. Castlegate Estate also has near complete or shell houses and serviced plots at prime locations on offer for sale at Katamanso, Tema Community 22 and 25 extensions, Dodoa and Prampram at very affordable prices. Our fully serviced plots come with electricity, pipe-borne water and road network. These plots are now selling fast. Just call our new management team and book appointment for free site visits. Castlegate Estate. We make home ownership easier.
Former Black Stars striker and King Faisal striker Ibrahim Tanko is applauding the Ghana Football Association for choosing Coach Kwesi Appiah over his contenders and believes that when he is given the assistant job role, he will support him to the maximum to deliver for Ghana.
I think it's good because, as you know, 80% of Ghanaians want a local coach, and I think Kwesi has been there before, and people saw what he did. And for me, I think it's a good choice.
Meanwhile, the 39-year-old former assistant coach of the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon, who has been linked to the assistant coach position for the Black Stars, says he will give Kwesi Appiah 100% support should he get the nod to be Kwesi Appiah's assistant, although he has officially not been communicated about the job.
I also read it on social media or in the newspaper. But I mean, it's not only me. I think if he comes, he needs our support, not only me, the whole Ghana. And if I had a chance to work with him, I can only give him my 100% support.
From the Black Stars, we shift our attention to the local league where Ghana Accra Hearts Suffolk board member Frank Nelson Wonkolo is confident that the Phobians are on course to win this season's league after recording their first away win against Ash Gold on Sunday by beating them by just a goal. This is what Frank Nelson had to say.
For the past 8 years, Accra Suffolk has not won an important trophy. So our supporters are looking forward to that. So it will not be wrong for us to judge that we are looking forward to making an adjustment in terms of title win. So winning the league is not of Accra Suffolk. We're in the race and we'll continue to pursue it with all amount of seriousness.
The Phobians currently occupy the 5th position on the log and with 18 points, having won 5, drawn 3 and have lost just 3 out of 11 games. In other outstanding matches that were played today, Tema Youth drew 1-1 with Wild All Stars, and Great Olympics, Agosue Dade, they lost by 2-1, and I know the number will not be happy. And in Nigeria, Black Stars goalkeeper Fatau Dawuda of Eyimba FC is being accused of punching a ball boy during a league game, which his side drew 1-1 with Katsina FC, but Fatau Dawuda denies the act.
Dawuda was accused of punching a ball boy in the face, who had to be rushed to the hospital during playing a game which finally ended 1-1. The Black Stars Goalkeeper Act provoked the home fans who tried to attack Dauda in retaliation, so had to be escorted by policemen from the pitch soon after the match. The crowd then attacked the Enyimba team, destroying their bus and injuring some of the players and officials. However, Dauda denied he punched the boy, insisting that he was being targeted because he was a foreigner. He added that the referee had to send the ball boy away from the game because of time wasting. He said the said ball boy was finally sent out by the referee. So if I had punched the boy, I should have been shown a card. I don't know where all these lies are coming from.
That's all for sports. News continues.
Sports Brief was brought to you by Castlegate Real Estate Group.
By popular demand, the revenge is back.
I'm sorry, Durga. I can't marry you.
Is this how you treat your daughter? If your daughter over here was in Durga's shoes, would you let this happen? Would you let this happen with Kangna?
Catch all the excitement, the drama, the thrills and the unending suspense on The Revenge as it hits your TV screens once again.
Durga Thakur, I know you are responsible for Shaurya's state.
Shaurya doesn't know what life is, what pain is.
You think that you will be able to evade what you did?
For the first time, he will feel the pain that he has kept on evading. He will suffer that. And his suffering will be our strength.
No, Durga Thakur, I promise you, you will have to go through much more pain than Shaurya is going through right now.
Each weekday at 6 p.m., get enthralled with all the action and drama from Sakshi, Shaurya, Durga and the rest of the Goenka family, and catch the omnibus every Sunday at 10 a.m. only on GHOne TV.
Welcome back.
It's now time for some international news, and let's see how fire has ravaged several thousands of homes in Nigeria.
Thousands of people in Nigeria's Lagos state were left homeless on Sunday after police stormed an informal fishing settlement and set fire to their homes, according to rights groups and residents. Community members of the Otodogbam riverine community said armed police fired bullets and tear gas indiscriminately, forcing them onto the canoes in the water as their houses were leveled. One man was reported to have been shot in the neck, but died while being taken to the hospital. Spanish police have arrested a Russian programmer for his alleged involvement in hacking the U.S. election. Piotr Levashov, who was arrested in Barcelona, has been remanded in custody. A legal source also told the AFP news agency that Mr. Levashov was the subject of an extradition request by the U.S. The request is due to be examined by Spain's National Criminal Court. The usually bustling streets of Kinshasa was relatively calm, and many business premises remained closed following a government's decision to ban opposition demonstrations. DR Congo's largest opposition party, the Union for Democracy and Social Progress, had called on supporters to carry out a nationwide demonstration against President Joseph Kabila on Monday.
All right, so that'll be all for international news.
Yes, we've got E-Zone coming up now.
Enough! Abba, plenty
medical bills. I have tried different methods and it hasn't prevented sin. My son has been in the hospital twice this year because of malaria. I haven't had a good night's sleep in years, but now no more, since I painted with Innisfly insecticide paint. Copy.
Innisfly insecticide paint kills mosquitoes dead for up to 2 years. It is a quality paint, a healthier option, and it's totally safe for humans and pets.
Take my word for it. Paint malaria out. Use Innisfly insecticide paint now.
Innisfly for a pest-free life.
The Cowbell Vita-Rich formula has been stolen. Get it back at all costs.
Tasting Cowbell with Vita-Rich has the 28 vitamins and minerals you need to be at the top of your game. Delicious, nutritious Cowbell with Vita-Rich, our milk.
The VGMAs celebrate top Ghanaian musicians based on performance, popularity and airplay. The criteria of having an album out in that same year has now been overlooked as album sales become less important worldwide. One of the big wins on the night was songstress Adina, who, although has been in the industry for 9 years, had yet to win an award. The sensational singer started singing since her childhood and joined the National Theatre Choir, performing at the Kidderfest and Fun World events, before winning the 2008 Stars of the Future competition. We managed to catch up with Adina fresh from her win, and this is what she had to say.
The winner is Adina Too Late.
Thanks Kilt Beats and King Promise. Thanks to my nephew Nana Kofi. But my music is inspired by God Almighty and by my life experiences. And I tap into the experiences of other people. Expect the best. I mean, we're not gonna stop. We're gonna keep doing more and more. So we guys should expect the best.
The VGMAs saw a wide range of interesting fashion, some hits, some not so fitting. But what has come out as a clear winner is the amusing cartoon comparison memes from the night shared on social media. Here are some of your favorites.
Well,
interesting outfits there, and the comparison begins.
I thought they were creative.
Of course.
They were creative. It was a night to showcase a lot.
Okay.
So the designers showed how creative.
Guess what? You are the reason why ECG had to go off. You can use their colors at that moment.
Thanks a lot for your company. Coming up is State of Affairs, of course, with Dr. Benjamin Kumbo. Enjoy. I'm Nana Abanamwa.
My name is Kweku Temin.
Away from the noise.
Wake up to the sweet sound of worship as the servant of God ushers us into his throne of grace.
Don't stay focused on what happened yesterday. God is saying something better is coming.
For when challenges strike, the Lord is our refuge. Therefore, let's start our day by seeking him first and committing our all into his hands.
When we carry around bitterness, unforgiveness, guilty, angry at our neighbor, you may not realize it, but that's stinking up your life.
Join Joel Austin 5 to 5:30 a.m. from Monday to Friday and let the word put a bounce in your step.
I'll never be the same. Never, never, never. I'll never be the same. In Jesus' name. God bless you.
Hi, I'm Ajete Anan. Well, sometimes life pushes us to the very edge. And just when it seems like there's no way out, just hold on. Choose right. Stay alive. Choose life.
Choose Life is a GH1 TV initiative promoting the value of life.
Post-acute food supplements to improve urine flow in men. We hear you so frequently, no more straining in urination.
Some few months ago, life was very tough for me as a man. I had a problem with urine flow. The urine does not flow the way I wanted. My bladder is often not completely empty. Sometimes I just embarrass myself. Until I was introduced to Prostacure from Medimosis Prostate Center.
Prostacure from Medimosis Prostate Center is a well-formulated food supplement acclaimed worldwide to improve urine flow. Now available at all pharmacies, filling station shops and shopping centers nationwide. Contact the Accra and Kumasi branches with the numbers on your screen.
Visit our new branch in the AESL building, opposite Ministry of Roads and Transport, near Pension House, Accra.
Prostacure food supplement improves urine flow in men.
I am a legend. He is a legend. And he is a legend. And he is a legend. I am a legend. We are legends.
In the midst of legends, I am the host. My understanding of the game is better enhanced as we speak football on GH1 television. Catch us every Friday for 90 minutes of fun-filled discussions right here on this network.
Everybody drink our coffee, smile and have a sunshine day. Everybody do what you're doing, smile and have a sunshine day. Everybody do what you're doing, your smile will bring a sunshine day. Drink up the celebration, we're together, join your hands in harmony. Everybody, do what you're doing. Smile and have a sunshine day.
Everybody start every day with delicious, nutritious cowbell coffee and have a sunshine day.
Everybody, drink our coffee. Smile and have a sunshine day. Woo!
State of Affairs is proudly brought to you by Cowbell Coffee.
Hello, good evening. This is State of Affairs on GH1 TV, and State of Affairs, of course, is across all social media networks, so you can always join our discussion using the hashtag State of Affairs across every platform that you so wish to do. Tonight we are talking about the NDC. The cracks in the NDC deepening. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I interviewed Koku Anyidoho, the Deputy General Secretary of the party. And of course, what he told us was that, of course, there are problems in the party, but they were waiting for a report as to why the party registered such humiliating defeat at the 2016 elections. Tonight, I'm playing host to the former Minister of Defense, Dr. Benjamin Kumbo. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Now, there is a press statement from a group that calls itself Dr. Benjamin Kumbo's cadres. You know of this group?
No, that's particularly the impression that has been wrongly peddled, and I guess it was basically a clerical issue. There is an association of cadres which has been on for so many years. It has even started as June 4th movement. It went round till constitutional rule, of which I am a member. Perhaps I'll be proud to say a leading member. This statement is attributable to them. What is happening is that a number of us, I think about 4 or 5, were contacted. And now we asked to see the draft of the statement because of the concerns that were coming up. We read through the draft. We thought it was okay. So we said we will be able to speak to it. Just to also present the cadre front that is an integral wing of the NDC party in terms of how they have perceived things and how they perceive the way forward, particularly in the context of not a too noble defeat that we had in this recent elections.
Were you shocked?
I would not be shocked, but I'm sure most of us were shocked.
Did you see it coming?
Yeah, it was possible that you could see that defeat was coming. Because anybody who has been around 1999, 2000, you could see a symmetry between the developments that were taking place, particularly a year and a half in the run-up to the elections. And so,
Developments such as?
I am sometimes a pessimist, let me say so, so that if I'm proved wrong, then everybody benefits. But I would not be too complacent. And I spent a lot of my quiet time doing some analysis. And I must say at that time I was a bit frightened about the parallels and similarities of 1999 and 2000, which eventually led to our electoral defeat at that time. So yes, there was cause for worry at that particular time.
What were some of these things that you were seeing that gave credence to your suspicion?
Oh, they were internal and external. The external environment, you don't always control it. Externally, we had gone into an IMF package, which with the consequences of very, very high level austerity. And the austerity hit directly at our constituency, which I always refer to as the social, within the context of social democracy. There is no way that with the global unemployment, particularly youth unemployment that you have in this country, that it will not become an election issue. In the peculiar case of Ghana, I saw the percentages of graduate unemployment reach an astronomical level, to the extent that an association of unemployed graduates had to be formed to articulate these concerns. We have never had this type of association before, and that clearly mirrors what exactly was going on in the country. And this external environment put us in a very, very difficult situation as against the onslaught that was unleashed by our political opponents in the NPP. That for me was a very, very central one. There were many more other things, but they all fed into the package that we went into.
So you thought it was the timing for going into this IMF plan was wrong in an election year?
Definitely. There is no way you can run austerity in this part of the world of an emerging economy in which hardship cannot be wished away. And because you are an incumbent, it becomes difficult. You cannot say, oh, we believe that as we take these major steps, these are going to be the outcome. Once you present yourself like that, they'll say, well, you are sitting on the seat, fix it. And already you have found sandbagged within the confines of these austerity measures. And it becomes easier for your opponents. They simply look at it, and because they have no responsibility at the time, and make a very clear statement, we will do this. And they make it very clear. So there's no attempt at rationalizing the state of the economy and how it's a global and a regional phenomena. They were in a relative comfort zone. Now you require some level of analysis, which leads me to the other ideological, external aspect, which is our ideological commitment. It became clear that most people who were external to the NDC, but perhaps politically active, both in and outside this country, kept asking very, very fundamental questions. What is the difference between the NDC and the MPP as it stands? There were even very, very clear and ironical situation, and that is also because of the way we handled something like the free senior high school. A social democratic party has the society as its reference point, particularly the socially excluded. So it should not lie in the mouth of a social democrat to be complaining that perhaps a non-social democratic party was bringing free education at any level. In fact,
so the communication was wrong.
Yes, the commitment of a social democrat, who should be even a very high aspiration, that education ought to be free for everybody at any level in this country. That should be our ideal. And that for me. So I can give you a very typical scenario and you will look at it and see how the communication gap came. One, if you had somebody, now let me give you the political one.
Okay.
If you see during the nationalist phase of the struggle, you had some part of those nationalists who said, we wanted independence at the shortest possible time. Kwame Nkrumah said, we want independence now. So who would you follow if you were caught up in that situation? So we would try to rationalize that, you see, because of A, because of B, because of this could not be done. Their response was a simple and straightforward one.
So it's
we will do it.
Free education, and then the NDC said it has to be progressive.
Precisely.
So the communication was wrong.
Yes, and the way the message was couched. In fact, there were times that you even felt the NDC, some of our utterances were like a free denial of people to free education. And that was really not the intention. Progressive realization of the right to education has been there in the United Nations rules and protocols and things like that. But when you want to domesticate it, it has to be situated within a particular social context. And so the message would have to be, look, we are committed to free education even up to the university level. And the reading of the constitutional provision is a very catchy one, particularly when you compare it to the United Nations Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights, where they talk about fundamental education. Then when you translate it to Ghana, and you are also trying to articulate the right to education, you have a challenge there. We don't have that right fundamental in our constitution. So what level of education is fundamental for it to be free? It could well include senior high school, depending on the level of development of the country. So the free should not only be the one that's dealing with the FQ, which meant that universality for all. So our economic situation in which we found ourselves made it difficult for us to be able to talk about a free education.
Did you bring their attention to this
We
issue?
have debated these matters, but it's not all the time that these issues need to go to the public domain. We are now at a point, and excuse me if ladies will be offended, but in my area, there's a saying that on the day of delivery, the lady has no shame any longer. And that is normally where we have reached now. It's a very critical point in which we have to bring back all these issues that would have been discussed in little caucuses, would have been discussed even at some levels of government into the public domain, so that we create a refocusing in terms of how we should
Now, you were an integral part of that government, of the former administration. And you said that you saw these, you probably saw the defeats coming because of how things were panning out every day in the country. Did you speak to the president about it? Did you draw his attention to it?
Well, the communication while you are in government is different from when you are out of government. But there have been opportunities in which these discussions have been here. I don't want to be quoted because I want to leave that question and answer ambivalent. But
I wonder why.
Yes, there were discussions, because you would know that when you are in cabinet, there are confidentialities which stay with you for quite a long time. But I can say for sure that the challenges had not been articulated, and the possible fear of we losing the election were not articulated or seen by one person. There are many NDC people. Anytime you met, They say, hey, you people watch it. And I can give you an example. You can find so many government officials who knew clearly that if nothing was done about Doomstop, we could lose the elections. So there were already indications. And you see the priority that government put on it, because it's a sector that cuts across so many issues. Yes, these matters have been discussed. Some of them solutions have been found to them. But I'm talking about a time frame within which you could address some of these problems that were systemic. Some of them were structural.
Did corruption come up in your conversations?
Definitely, corruption had always come up at almost every point in time, because as colleagues who were ministers, and I have had an opportunity at a meeting with the diplomatic corps, and I drew their attention to the level of unfairness of this corruption, because anybody who is corrupt has a name. So the clean brush that you use to apply to government, and for that matter, anybody associated with government, was wrong. I would be very happy for somebody would say, Minister A, B, C, D, Z are corrupt. This is the evidence. You see, when the conversation is at that level, the person, apart from not being sincere in terms of the allegation, is also giving the people he's accusing the opportunity to take whatever remedies that are available to them. So we were caught up in this situation. The second thing that I did draw attention to was the fact that it becomes difficult for you to say whether there was corruption or there wasn't. But as a matter of fact, the perception of corruption was very high in this country. Whether that perception translated into the truth or not is another matter. You will not have the empirical evidence. But wherever you went, this stigma or mud that was thrown at the government in terms of perceived corruption was very high. And it permeated the entire system. And any colleague you asked, everybody was asking this question about how we came to inherit this whole notion of being the most corrupt government since Ghana's independence started. So yes, we've been having exchanges on a number of these issues.
Okay, I want to go back to the press statement from the cadres. There's a part here that talks about the 2016 election campaign and how the NDC displayed, or your campaign was characterized by flamboyant rallies full of opulence and fanfare, devoid of any political or ideological substance that did not resonate with the actual people on the ground. It goes on to say that the structures of the NDC at the national, regional and constituency levels refused to work at the grassroots. The branch executives were virtually sidelined when logistics and funds were provided from the higher levels. Members at the branch level were frustrated and neglected. The NDC campaign in 2016 neither energized the base nor encouraged new people to join the party.
Yes. These, I'm sure, eventually will be concerns that you find that have been expressed daily. In fact, I believe one of the contexts for the cadres coming out was they had sent a message to the cadre following that they didn't want them to become lone wolves, and each one speaking out of 10. If anybody had any concern as a cadre, the person should forward it to the secretariat, and they'll collate it into something more systematic and then present out there, so that no individual cadre should just be trusted with a microphone and he's coming out to talk about what might just be highly subjective or idiosyncratic. So some of these statements that you see kept recurring region after region as we try to compile them. And that is why it did come in the way in which it came. Now, this is how they look at it. So it's no more a question of whether they are right or wrong, but this is the perception that they have.
But do you think they are right?
To some aspects, we have had these discussions. We who were in government, including myself, we've been accused of arrogance, and you don't really give access to people in government. They don't seem to see or feel part of the NDC power that we had. These things have come up from time to time. For instance, if we look at one of the things that people perhaps were not conscious about, if you have the economy that is screaming, and the clarion call is that we want money in our pocket, this is a euphemism for saying that we think hardship. Of course, literally speaking, the president cannot go around with money in bags and fill people's pockets, but they are simply registering a sentiment that things are hard. And this was not limited to only NDC members or people in the country. The economic brand was equally felt by some NDC people, and perhaps doubly because the assumption in these emerging economies and young democracies is that the winner takes all. And they have become the winners, and they seem to see nothing that they are taking. And you see that these things increase as we were getting to the elections. And people were like, we are now in some injury time. When will it also be well with my soul? And people were asking these questions quite genuinely. So you will see that within that economic framework, and your ministers and appointees being accused of corruption. And the accusation of corruption was not just the type of thing you throw away. So the explanation is that the fact that you can't pay your students' school fees, pedestrian as it is because the ministers and the government have chopped all the money. Then come your billboards.
Huge.
Yes. You see, the imaging is more important than words. Once you are running an austerity framework, and suddenly when you get to the point of wanting to get power back, they are beginning to see things they might not even know who donated it, they might not even know who supported it, how much it is cost. But the mere imagery that such a billboard projects. I happen to have been in the Volta region, and I was particularly happy that that particular issue came up. And perhaps in a very dispassionate way, people should look at it. That the Kumasi Central Market, in terms of its completion, was put in the center of who? To showcase the achievements of the government. Meanwhile, the host market was at its foundation. So the question that you ask is that, did you want to get voters from the Volta region, or you wanted to attract people from the Ashanti region who were in the Volta region that their market was complete? It might be inadvertent. But do you see the scenario that it paints? So is it accidental that our World Bank, the statistics show clearly that the voter turnout was not as large as it has been? Why? And these for me are some of the issues when we are talking about a rigorous, a bit more sophisticated way of communicating with people, even through images.
But the NDC, I mean, for you in the NDC, you are more experienced at winning elections than any party in this country. Yes. You have been in power the longest time. So why did the party make these mistakes? I mean, you talk about showcasing the Kumasi Central Market in the Volta region. Why would the communications team, the election team, the campaign team of the NDC commit such an error?
Well, when you lose elections, it might be seen as an error. If we had won,
it would have been a success
story.
So
that situation today, because we have lost, has no father. But I'm sure if we had won, the number of people who have been competing with each other to win the glory as the person being responsible for that imaging, you'll be alarmed about the number of people who will do that. But this is a situation that, difficult as it is, we are not apportioning blame to misjudgment. Every human being is fallible. But when you put a campaign team together, you see, when I take this country...
Did you think the campaign team was solid enough to win the election?
In fact, it is not the individual personalities in the campaign team that determines. It is the soft campaign team. The individuals are the hard campaign team. Okay. That is the messages that they have to carry.
So did they have a message?
Both verbal and... yes, there were quite a number of messages. But again, these messages need to be done in its context. And so the relevance of context in sequencing, which is timing, or when these messages come up, become important. For instance, there are people who have raised the issue that you send a green book to Bunkpurugu. As part of the campaign, you go to tell the people that these are the achievements that we have been able to make. And the village eye-opener looks at it and they say, oh, that's nice. Then you leave and they say, eh. So it is Accra people who are fit to receive these things. And our classroom block is in a dilapidated state. Have you seen what you have done? And infrastructure has its challenges in terms of how it wins elections. And it has been known years on. And anybody who has followed the political debate, these things sit in situ. They don't move. And I can tell you that about getting to 2/3 of your population will not have moved within the election period to these locations with this infrastructure, beyond those that are nearer them. So if you even did a regional one, in which you showcase what was done by the government, and a lot was done, in every region in its context. In fact, we needed about 10 green books, each specific, and people can relate to it.
So the general one was not enough?
It could not be enough, and it could not, because these infrastructure are in situ, they are fixed and don't move around for people to encounter them. They become alien art to people.
But the president followed it up with accounting to the people.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. You see, there is always the hard side of something and the soft side. And I can tell you again, the president has said so many of these things time and time again. Why is it that we still lost despite that? That's the fundamental question. It meant that the people either didn't believe us, or the message didn't go down in the context in which they wanted to receive it. And when I talk about the soft side of infrastructure, that is what you can market. And that's what the president was trying to do. You see, Rich Hospital, beautiful edifice, beamed on the television cameras as our achievement. A social democratic party doesn't show physical inert objects. You must link it to how that has reduced or improved the health condition of the people, and possibly project how it can do that in the future. The fiscal infrastructure is just what is housing well-being and healthcare. Whether it is beautiful or it's not beautiful, that is not the issue. Whether it is modern or it's not modern. You can even have a touch house where people can go and get quality health service. And you can also have a brilliant, magnificent edifice in which the quality of service will be poor. And so the political spin-offs that one could gain from these things was very limited.
Was the president taking advice, or if you advised him, was he listening to the old guns in the party like you?
I don't think any president or any leader will not seek advice. Certainly, I'm sure the president will seek advice. But since I'm not him, I cannot ask. But I know as a matter of state practice that when challenges come, the leader...
Did you ever offer him any advice?
Well, the situation, I can see where you are getting to.
Oh, I'm not getting anywhere.
What we do basically is that we do have chats. For instance, you must know the sector in which you belong. I belong to the security sector. And yes, when there were challenges with the security sector, I drew his attention. The party is the one dealing with the political wing, of which he's the leader. And the party has its structures. And the party was also under an obligation to advise the president from the political angle. And I have no reason to doubt that this was not done.
I'm asking you this because some of your colleagues have said that it was very difficult getting access to the president. Dr. Kwabeneje, your former chairman, says that it was very difficult at some point to even put a phone call through to the president. The Honorable Alban Bagwin has said something similar in the past. Yeah. Did you feel that way?
You see, that is an issue that you need to deal with. My mother had complained about her inability to get access to me, even as a minister. So you are dealing with degrees and numbers. I've had many good friends that I have lost because they have known me as a meticulous person who would pick my phone at the first call. So these are challenges of office. But why I do not want us to dwell on some aspects of this, whether the president gave you access or he didn't give you access. Where do we stand today? We have lost elections and we are looking for the way forward. If you can recraft your lack of access to the president within the context of reorganization, then people will take it up and they will debate it. But I don't believe in the situation of crying over spilled milk. And I think that is significant. And I guess that you might have the opportunity one day to speak to His Excellency, the former president.
I will.
And you should put this question directly to
I
him.
will. When people say that the president was surrounded by very young men who knew next to nothing about winning an election, what do you say to them?
Well, that might be their perception. And I do not think that reality is in black and white, absolute. Reality is in shades of gray. In the black, there are white spots. And in the white, there are black spots. So it is not just the mathematical, the quantum of your number of years of life that will indicate whether you are experienced or knowledgeable or not. Experience is not gathered, or it's not directly a relationship of age. And again, if I give you one of my village stories, when the very old men insist that they have to be acknowledged in a particular context, they always would say it, and the same old men say that, well, a log can lie in a pond for thousands of years, and the new crocodiles will be hatched within a week. And the crocodiles would explore the entire length and breadth of the pond, and the log continues to lie there. Between this young crocodile exploring and the pond that is physically in the water for how many years, only God knows, whose knowledge of the pond would you respect? So it's the quality. Yes, so I don't see that. Again, you see, a social democratic party, we should not reduce the bar of the debate to this type of level. I did not hear the former chairman, Dr. Kwabena J, myself. And why I don't comment on these things is that when I listen to somebody, I can talk about the context, I can talk about the question that he was asked, and how the press chose which aspect of it will be media friendly or would sell, and they put it out. So that for me is significant. But the issue about age is not one that is very fundamental. If you are a fool, you can be 1,000 years, you remain one. Particularly if you are the type of fool that has no capacity to learn. You have that problem. If you are even 15, 18 years old, and depending on your experiences of growing up to that young age, you might know what an 80-year-old man will not know. But more significantly, there is no one human being in this world that knows everything. So you are bound to have shortcomings, and we should not attribute those shortcomings to the age of the people. Because if the youth really pick up this thing, we would have a problem. Because the question, what the youth is questioning is that because politics is a generational thing, development is a generational, we don't want anybody to take decisions and leave a negative legacy for us to come and deal with. So there are as much stakeholders today as there would be tomorrow.
Do you feel that your founder could have been used effectively in the 2016 campaigning period?
Yeah, you see, there is something about, I keep calling it a Jerry John Rawlings mongering, or a Jerry John Rawlings scare, in which nobody is talking about him as the founder of the party, and the Constitution says it's based on his vision. Whether that is controversial or it's not controversial. But one of my village wisdom, again, is that any river that has no respect for its source will dry up. So there's a reason why you keep a chain in a conveyor belt from the younger generation to those in the middle, to the older ones, and perhaps to those visions in which that particular institution or stream emerged. And successfully won, I think, about 4 out of the 6 elections that we've held in this country. This was a party that was hardly known. We've all known the UP and CPP tradition. So you cannot explain to me that the founder is so naive that he could have led a party that had never been tested on the ground and won elections at particularly interesting margins that we are struggling today. And then today he should not be seen as somebody that should not have a say. And I have had the opportunity of telling him quite clearly that where this ship is going, he has to step in and try to guide all of us. Because he will not want to be a party chairman, he will not want to be a presidential candidate, he will not want to hold any office in the party. So he's in a better suited situation to be able to indicate to the party that I think from my years of experience,
will they listen to him?
This is what they go.
Will the party listen to him?
Well, but he would have performed his responsibility. And I believe he has done that. When we went to Cape Coast, you could hear the statement that he made, that we're at the precipice, and that you don't play people's games because you can't win. You set up your own game and play it according to your rules. and that are the disengagement from our values. Till where we are in constitutional democracy, we seems at every stage of a victory to be shifting away from that original vision.
Was his
that
advice
brought us
taken?
together.
Do you think that advice was taken at all?
Well, I've had one or two leading members of the party draw attention to that statement that he made. But I cannot tell because I was not the one to take that advice, because since I entered government or have been politically active, I've been clear in my mind that the reason why I chose to join the NDC and not any other political party is because it was likely to espouse social development within a context that approximates my ideology, even if it's not 100%. So it's like a second best. And if we kept commitment to the tenets of social democracy, we will not be where we are now. And you see, it's like a rigmarole. You see, your economy gets difficult. They accuse your government of corruption. That perception of corruption deepens down. It even engulfs some of your people within your party. And the reason why your party would also believe those things is because they have been made to believe that the people who are appointed are stealing money and are becoming very comfortable, and they are suffering. When you have all these things together, it affects it. You see international media, and they are talking about NDC corruption. You see local media, and if it was even consciously done, what are the scientific tools for a social democratic party to deploy at that particular time to be able to ward off these attacks? You are not just going because I accuse you of being a thief and you say I'm not a thief. That is not the issue. We should have been the ones to first of all cut off these lies from getting as low as to our grassroots. To the extent, something I've never seen in NDC, that you could not get somebody to put up flags 1 kilometer without the person expecting a reward.
Because they thought you were all too rich.
Precisely. That is the perception that was out there. And so they watch how these things are done. They watch individual campaigns that are waged. And you begin to see that they say, look, we can see a difference between them. Even the billboards of the NDC are bigger than the NPP when they were in power. So these are real hard situations that we need to deal with. There are no more situations that you can sweep under the carpet.
All right, let's take a break. This is State of Affairs. I'm here with Dr. Benjamin Kombo, the former defense minister. Do stay with us.
Everybody drink our coffee, smile and have a sunshine day. Everybody do what you're doing, smile and have a sunshine day. Everybody do what you're doing, your smile will bring a sunshine day.
Drink up
the celebration, we're together, join your hands in harmony. Everybody, do what you're doing. Smile and have a sunshine day.
Everybody start every day with delicious, nutritious cowbell coffee and have a sunshine day.
Everybody, drink our coffee. Smile and have a sunshine day. Woo!
I am a legend. He is a legend. And he is a legend. And he is a legend. I am a legend. We are legends.
In the midst of legends, I am the host. My understanding of the game is better enhanced as we speak football on GHOne television. Catch us every Friday for 90 minutes of fun-filled discussions right here on this network.
right, you're welcome back to State of Affairs on GH1 TV and also streaming on GH1TV.com and on Facebook at GH1TV.com, GH1 TV's page on Facebook. That's where we are. And I'm in the studio tonight with Dr. Benjamin Kumbo. He's a former Minister for Defense. And I now want to talk about the 2020 elections. And in talking about the 2020 elections, there's a bit from the cadres release here that says that it is in the interest of the leaders of the party to stop the infantile pontification now as to who can lead the party. I spoke to the national organizer of the party a couple of weeks ago, Kofi Adams, and he says that definitely it should be JM. I also spoke to Kojo Chumbuafo. He says definitely John Mahama for 2020. Is that a discussion we should be having now?
Well, basically,
or the party should be having now.
That is precisely, anyway, anybody is entitled to his opinion and who are his preferred candidates.
Okay.
But we should not allow candidature that would be the tail end to befork the difficult task of starting to build from the grassroots. And that for me is significant because in society, a lot can be achieved if it doesn't matter who gets the glory. So if you start a project with a glory, you are likely not to be able to achieve that project. That is why I believe that issue particularly is one that is not relevant now for us to be seen discussion. As has been said time and time again, if you have a sick horse and you do not care it, putting it in a race doesn't make any difference. But the object of 2020 is that you intend to win. I thought people would be talking about how our grassroots could be galvanized, move to the constituency, and how the internal attrition and challenges and difficulties among us.
Are there cracks in the party at the moment?
I won't say there are cracks. What I can say is that you have a rainbow type of situation in which there are multiple colors. But whether cracks have actually taken place in that, I don't think I'll present it in such a gloomy way.
The party got a broken car, as Gabra says.
All is not well with the party, because if all was well, we wouldn't have gone through this defeat. That is the bottom line. So I do not want us to
So it's Spear's description, a fair description, a broken car. The
unfortunately, he did not discuss this description with me, and I would not know what went.
But how would you describe the party at the moment?
I would say it is a party that is facing challenges. Some of the challenges are known. Some of the challenges have befallen other parties and they have overcome them. But some of the challenges are peculiarly NDC challenges. And so we must look at all these challenges and be able to see how we can put it together.
Do you think that the Kwesi Botwe report will bring some closure to the grassroots especially?
No, I think what it will do is, one, to rather open up a number of the conversation pathways. Because from the approach I have seen so far and how things are going, it will now be able, its usefulness will be to show levels of discontent and internal misunderstandings so that you now know how you target the solution. There are times in which people are sent as mediators and they go and come back being part of the conflict. So you must get this thing right, that in constituency A, these are the balance of forces. And the play between this balance of forces is what would have led to a defeat. I believe that that is one of the things that the Kwesi Botwe committee report would come. I have been monitoring quite a number of the areas they have visited. And I am particularly happy that in some areas, the committee members gave it. They were not there to patronize people or to ask. They asked people just to talk. And people said all sorts of things. And fortunately, just because people have unburdened themselves, people are now beginning to look at the way forward. And I think it's a helpful
Do you think that the delay in giving us the final report is also increasing the despondency in your grassroots?
Yeah, a report of the magnitude that we are dealing with is not one, if you want to do it well, that you can just bring out. I believe that they should be able to give us some high points by way of an interim report. and we give them enough time to systematize it in a more comprehensive manner. So you can even give us bullet points that from the generality of where we have gone around and where we have reached, these are the areas of concern. The details as to what triggered those concerns and the way forward will be presented in the final report.
What did you think of the brand John Mahama?
I'm not sure there was a brand John Mahama. And a Social Democratic Party should be the last political organization to brand personalities. We believe that individuals only leave their footprints in history, but they don't make history. Social forces make history. This is a social democratic tenet. And John Mahama is a part of the team of those social forces. So it is John Mahama plus the social forces that you should be asking whether they are a brand name.
Did John Mahama complement the social forces?
He didn't have to complement what he was part of. You see, when you are talking of a hierarchical society, that is government. But we are talking here about party. So I'm looking at him splitting himself as president, but at the same time, the leader of the NDC.
Okay.
And in the leadership scheme of the NDC, he is among his colleagues. So whatever happens at the end of the day will not be whether it was a John Mahama's brand or an NDC brand. It will be a brand of the leadership of the party down to the lowest grassroots. Did we sufficiently brand that? And that is exactly what I was telling you, that a mass party that has an ideological commitment must focus on that ideology.
But did you believe in him to win this election, to win the 2016 election? Did you think he had what it took to win the election?
Definitely. In fact, from day one when John Mahama became president, there was no doubt in my mind that he could win elections and possibly win it again the second term. I never had that doubt. But in between these periods, you see the nature of the challenges that came. And those challenges have to be looked at very, very closely. But that one will be internal to us when we sit down to discuss and we come to how the presidential candidate and the party intertwine in such a way that you don't isolate an icon and leave him out to the wolves to destroy. So
is that what happened to him?
If we allow a John Mahama brand and all the attacks are going on him, and the brand seems to be the one holding the masses and not the masses holding the brand, what happens?
Why do you think that happened?
Well, I'm just saying because you have talked about a brand, and I don't think as a Social Democratic Party we needed a brand.
Okay.
At least if we're branding anything, it should have been the party, which is a mass party. And so I'm just linking it up to show that our brand will have been a Social Democratic Party that has values and ideology in addressing the concerns of the ordinary man. So if you were to get a conservative property democracy party, and you had a Social Democratic Party, and there was a policy for them to implement, one believes that the private sector and profit are the engine of growth. So they'll be tailoring all what they are doing into profits and the private sector. A Social Democratic Party believes that there's a social responsibility of those in government to provide social goods and services, to try and bridge the gap between the rich and the poor by having pro-poor or pro-socially excluded policies, so that you can hook it together. This is what the electorate or possibly the floating voter will take and say, oh, this is what Party A says, this is what the Social Democratic Party says. I see some sense in going with the Social Democratic Party. But if both of them say that we are going to do the same thing, what's the difference? That's, for me, where the issues will lie.
Do you feel that President Mahama had great leadership skills to manage issues?
In fact, he didn't even need to have that.
He didn't?
That is, I say he didn't need to have that.
Okay.
That is one of the things that I wanted. He was working with a team. He just happens to be the leader of the team.
Okay.
So whatever goodness that must come out must be how the team puts that goodness in him.
Okay.
Even if he as an individual was an excellent person and had 10 terrible cases who were part of his team, the team would be defeated.
Okay, let me change the question.
Yeah.
Let me change the question. Do you feel, by the logic you just gave me, do you feel that he was working with the right people at the presidency?
Well, you see, the presidency is not just the Flagstaff House as you see. The presidency is a system. In fact, some parts of those systems don't even stay in the castle, Flagstaff House. So what went on in the Flagstaff House should not be the judgment of a government. In fact, there are people who were part of that network that perhaps had never set foot in the Flagstaff House. So let's make a distinction between a fiscal structure of Flagstaff House. Now, it is very difficult to tell, and I want to decode this thing I've been hearing in the media, that the people around him, who was not around President Mahama? Everybody was around him. In fact,
State of Affairs was proudly brought to you by Cowbell Coffee.
Magnificently positioned in the eastern corridors of Accra. 5 minutes drive from Kotoka International Airport is one of Ghana's finest. Beautifully crafted, multi-million edifice. Few meters off the Spinkters Road. This structure is uniquely designed to meet the standards of the World Health Organization and the Food and Drugs Authority.